Today I'm with Khuselee. You might have seen him on Instagram or TikTok before.
Probably.
No, he's just finished his third year studying materials engineering at Imperial. Today I'm going to be asking him questions about his life at Imperial, content creation, and his future plans. Hand over to Khuselee to introduce himself.
Yeah, I mean, he basically did most of the work. So I just finished third year, material science and engineering at Imperial. Born in Mongolia, bit about me, raised in London, so I have a decent accent. Let's get on with the questions.
Yeah, cool, sick. I mean, this is standard. I have to ask it. Why materials engineering and what kind of drew you towards it?
Yeah, sure. So during my UCAS journey, I was mainly applying, for A-levels I did maths, chemistry, physics, and I was mainly drawn to chemical engineering and also material science and engineering within Imperial. So most of my two offers that I received during my UCAS process when I was 18 and year 13, doing my A-levels was Cambridge for chemical engineering and then Imperial for material science and engineering. And so I had those two choices, and then I guess so Cambridge, if you're wondering, Cambridge was my first choice, but obviously I didn't make the grades then, so I was a bit of a bum, so I ended up at Imperial. But anyways, why did I pick material science and engineering for my choice was because it utilized all three of my A-levels, and it's a very interdisciplinary field, so it means it covers, there's bits about chemistry, there's a lot of physics, like quantum physics, you touch on nuclear engineering, I'm doing a nuclear placement right now, electrical engineering, materials goes into pretty much every sort of application technology that you can think of is used in semiconductors. So yeah, that's what drew me to it. Yeah.
Cool, sick. I mean, personally, I don't know much about materials engineering, so how would you explain it to someone like me who doesn't really know much about the degree itself?
Yeah, sure. So the degree is mainly, in a nutshell, just the study of learning about how to manipulate the properties of materials and also just the processing of it. So what's an example I can give? For example, we've seen with AI, and there's going to be a massive, I think we're heading towards like a technological boom in a couple of decades. So like nuclear fusion, quantum computing, AI is one of them, robotics. And so all of these new technologies, they need new materials to be able to create them, right? So you need maybe lighter metals, stronger metals, better conductors. I can't think of any others, but like all of them require materials to do the correct job, right? And so you need to start from the ground up, picking the right material. A lot of materials that's used in materials engineering don't even exist. So like how do you make a new material with certain properties that you need to be able to handle it being in space, for example? What material are you gonna use? Okay, so we're probably gonna have to mishmash some materials around to produce certain qualities of it. So that's what materials engineering is about. Yeah.
Nice, sick. That's enough about materials engineering. Now, you've had 3 years of experience at Imperial, much more than I have. So I wanted to ask, what does your normal week look like at studying your course?
Okay, yeah. To be honest with you, I looked at this question and I thought, it's very, for me, it's a very weird question because it depends on the term.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've had quite a different experience to maybe the average Imperial student. I reckon the average Imperial student who's been here for 3 years would probably just say, okay, I go in, I study my course, revise a couple hours, and maybe, I don't know, go club, watch the TV after this. But for me, I've had quite a varied experience. So first and second year, I was actually very drawn to, I was very forward thinking with my career. I was really interested in finance. And so in my spare time, I'd be revising for internships within banking, preparing for interviews. That was a big chunk of my first and second year. This year, my third year, I've sort of actually gone more back into my course. I found more renewed interest into it. So I'm going deeper into my course, trying to become more technical rather than focusing on maybe, say, finance or banking. I haven't really done that much for this year in terms of that career. And I'm actually quite interested in entrepreneurship this year as well. But anyways, what a normal week looks like, I guess, I have to study. Well, I mean, I've finished the year, but like I would be, studying, probably trying to cram for an exam, and probably shoot some videos as well. I tried posting every day for like 90 days, went semi-successful, maybe that as well. I'm quite big into my fitness as well, so I try to work out maybe like 4 or 5 times a week around. And right now, actually, I'm every weekday I have to be on placement, so that's my current schedule. So yeah, it just changes.
Fair enough, that's pretty packed. My question is twofold. Firstly, you mentioned in first and second year you were quite into the internship kind of culture. So how do you find that at Imperial? And my second question is, having had done that, what made you switch in year 3, thinking less about that kind of culture and moving more towards entrepreneurship and everything else that you've done?
Yeah, so I'd say the internship culture at Imperial, I think it's pretty good. But it depends on where you want your internship in. So for example, if you're into like banking and finance, Imperial, there is a community for it. There's Finance Society, Investment Society. They are pretty good societies. I'd say there's like, if you're into that, there's maybe like 5-10% of the student cohort that is. The rest is usually more geared towards engineering, maybe some startups, going deeper into technology, and a big chunk in consulting as well, actually, I don't know why. Yeah, so that's the internship culture. Like there are people who are cracked. You probably see my what internship do you have video. So like, there's plenty of quants and people getting into banking and every technology firm you can think of. So it's there. It's pretty good, I guess. But I don't think it's as prevalent as like LSE, for example. LSE is like, you have to have an internship, right? No one really cares about their course. Whereas here, there's a bit more leeway into, you can go deeper into your course, go deeper into research. What was the second question?
The second question is what made you switch in year 3, like as in you started
okay. Yeah. Okay, so second year I did a spring week in Deutsche Bank, which is like a pretty big bank, I guess. And then I did like a consulting summer internship as well. And I don't know, maybe it's a mixture of, I never really found it that interesting. Like I was mainly doing it for the prestige and the high pay. But if you strip those two things away from it, like I don't really care about like banking or consulting, to be honest. And like and if you factor in the long hours, like is the pay really, that great? That was my personal thought process. And also just, I don't know, maybe I'm just being salty because I got, because I didn't convert my spring internship. But I just felt like like banking and consulting, they're so competitive as well. And so if you really go deep in that career and you want to get an internship in it, like you have to apply like within like minutes of it opening. You have to network and basically just lick a bunch of ass to get like those referrals and coffee, just to get one coffee chat with someone who doesn't care about you. I don't know, it just wasn't really for me. Like I was just like, do I really have to do all of that stuff just for an internship? And you're probably not even going to get the internship, stats wise, right? Because we've got one of the worst grad crises in the world right now, and banking is probably the worst / consulting. And the reason why that is because everyone applies to it, and the reason why everyone applies to it is because pretty much everyone can do the job. It's not a hard thing to do. It's just, can you work for long hours? And so my thinking was in third year, I was going through a bit of an epiphany. I study a STEM degree within Imperial College. Not a lot of people get the chance to do that. So why not, actually use my brain for once while I'm still young. So I just thought, I've got a rare opportunity. Why not just hone in a bit deeper? So first and second year, I wasn't really too focused on my degree. Third year, I kind of switched that around. And I realized a lot of things in entrepreneur. I have a lot of friends in entrepreneurship who started their own startups and shown, it's possible and to achieve success. And so that really brought me into that, as well as that in startup entrepreneurship culture, it's favored for you to be technical and like developing yourselves in all aspects, whereas in banking and corporate, it's more about, I don't know how you describe it, like it's less so, like if you're the most skilled person in banking, that doesn't mean you're going to be the best, right? It's more about do people like you?
Yeah.
Whereas in startup culture, it's more about can you do the work?
How driven are you? How able are you to not follow the rules? Like think
Yeah.
outside the box.
Exactly, yeah, think outside the box. And so that's why I think those two things go hand in hand. Going deeper into my course, a lot of things like semiconductors and robotics and nuclear in my course, and that like links well with some. I'm into like tech for startups, so a lot of it linked well. So that's why I had a bit of a shift. In third year. That's quite a long-winded answer. Good luck editing that.
No worries. Thank you. And it's kind of a random question.
Yeah.
What surprised you most about Imperial once you started?
What surprised me the most about Imperial?
Yeah. 3 years to think about this answer.
Wow, shit. What surprised me the most about Imperial? I don't know, I'm not really sure. Like, going into it, I knew it was a top uni, and there's going to be a higher workload. It's probably going to have less emphasis on the social life, but like I didn't really care. Like when I was applying for unis, they'd show all the league tables of all the unis ranked and had all the different metrics, and one of them would be like, what's the social life like? And I was just like, I don't give a shit about that metric. Like I was looking at how good is the teaching and how successful the students, what salary do they get. So I don't know, I feel like I kind of got what I asked for in Imperial, pretty much. Yeah, I don't know, what surprised you about Imperial?
Surprised me? Okay, spinning the question on me. I think, personally, like, how you said the internship culture wasn't as strong in your year. But personally, in my year, I felt that it's been pretty competitive. Like, but it might be because we do different courses. I do EFTS, I just finished my first year, anyone's wondering. And personally, like, the kind of culture you described at LSE where you kind of slack up your course and go all in on applying for springs and stuff. I've seen that in my course. Like most people went all in on springs and much.
The reason why, the reason why is because you does EFTS, and EFTS is basically it's like imagine a chunk of LSE and you just took it out and you just put it into Imperial, and so you've got like a small little LSE like bubble in Imperial. That's kind of what I think of with EFTS. But EFTS as a course is probably better than any course in LSE, to be honest, because it's a bit more technical. But anyways,
yeah, that's a really fair take. I agree with that. And yeah, moving on. A lot of people shit on our social life. Would you agree with that? Do you think our social life is good or bad, or do you think it's whatever people make of it?
It's obviously going to be a bit lower because we have higher workloads, and everyone's more focused on their career and their future. So it means less people are bums, and so less people are gonna waste their time for socializing. What's that, man? Like, so yeah, we do have like a lower social life probably. I've been to many universities in the UK. If you see my videos, and they're definitely a lot more like social, I guess. But it depends on really what you define as a social life. If you mean social life like going out, going to the club, going parties, then yeah, fair enough. Like somewhere like KCL or UCL is just gonna do that more. But like, is that really what you want? Is that really a useful metric for your future? That's me personally, so I don't really like care. That being said, I feel like most of my friends are from Imperial, and they're probably one of the greatest people I'll ever meet. And so the social life, as in getting to network, meet like-minded individuals, meet friends that are actually going to help you and you can help them, and it's actually a fruitful relationship, that's still there in Imperial, if not more. So really it depends on how you define a social life, and it's definitely what you make of it, because a lot of people in Imperial, I guess, tend to be more on the antisocial type, but someone like me, I guess, is considered a bit more social for an Imperial student. Like, I know a lot of people in different courses, and I feel like I've had an alright social life.
Yeah, fair. And also just to add, so you mentioned like universities like UCL, KCL, they have more of a social life. I feel like because you're in London, if you want to have a social life, even at Imperial, like you can always meet them. Like clubs, they're not limited just to a single university. Like if you go to a club, you'll meet people from all different universities. So like, it's not. I don't think it's fair to describe social life at Imperial, social life at UCL. It's as in social life in London, and I think the social life in London is great. So if you want to be a social animal, I guess, like you can have that. And yeah, let's move on to the next question. How do you balance your workload with everything else?
How I balance my workload? It's not really balanced. I don't know, someone's like described to me what's called like the 4 burner theory, where it's like you balance like 4 major aspects, I don't know, family, I forgot what the other ones were, like income, or whatever, but like 4 major things that you're trying to balance. And it's the 4 burner theory because you can only keep like 3 on, so you can only really do 3 at a time, and so 1 has to be sacrificed at each stage of, at each point in time. And so that's kind of like me, to be honest. Like, you know, I cram my exams sometimes because, you know, I might focus a bit less on my studies and might focus a bit more on other things going on. So yeah, sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming, but like I kind of just got used to that feeling. So yeah, that's how I balance it. I don't balance it. It's just what can be sacrificed at the time, and then move on and try and rectify it later. Yeah, but it probably could be balanced, to be honest.
Yeah, Loki, that's really interesting. I feel like all the high achieving people can't really balance their work. Like they achieve stuff in sprints. I think you have a goal, you set it, you achieve it, and then you go on to the next thing. And for exams, for example, you might have stuff way before that means that you can't be revising for it 3 months before, and then you go and kind of just lock in for a week straight for that exam, and then I guess probably do well. But I don't think balance per se exists for someone who wants to, I guess, achieve more. And let's move on to content creation. So you've been posting a lot of content recently. What's your motivation behind content creation?
My motivation would be, I say, well, main point, leverage. You know, like it's better to have leverage / personal brand. It's better that people, you know, it's good. You'd rather have like an audience of people that know who you are and, you know what you're capable of, I guess. And if you have a good personal brand, I guess, you know, I guess I have a bit of like a neutral one, but like more people know who I am. And so I say leverage because let's say I want to create a product or start something, then I already have an audience there. And so I think it's just better to have it rather than not. And I think the skills that, you know, it can teach me, like you know, being comfortable speaking to people, being comfortable speaking on a camera, like that's never gonna be a useless skill. Like that's always gonna be useful. Bettering my communication as well. Yeah, I used to have a better answer than this, but yeah, like I just think I also think as the world gets more digitalized, I think, you know, the idea of having a personal brand online is going to be even more, like you see it with LinkedIn, right? Like people post about their internships or their jobs, and we've got a platform where people literally just show off and, you know, showcase themselves. And so I think, if anything, we're probably going to branch more into more people posting content about themselves, about their lives, about what they can do. And so I think, you know, let me get in early and it's also very fun as well, like going to different campuses and, you know, I've always wanted to, I'm a bit of a traveler, I guess, like I've always wanted to look at the other campuses, meet new people as well. So it gives me an excuse to do that in a way. So it's a very multifaceted answer, but it encompasses like all the things I wanted to do, so why not? It just makes sense to me, you know? And like, you know, you might get a little shy in the beginning, but like, who cares, man? Like if my goal is to do that, who cares what I feel? I have to override it. Yeah.
Yeah, fairs. I fully agree. I think with content creation, it opens up opportunities that you probably might have not had before. It puts yourself in front of the eyes of people who could probably offer you a lot of value. And I think that's probably, in addition to what he said, that's probably my goal as well, just to put myself in front of the eyes of the people.
I forgot to mention that one.
Yeah, because people can add a lot of value, but if you don't know who they are, it's just not going to happen. And yeah, well, next question. How far do you want to take content creation and what do you hope to achieve with it? I mean, you kind of touched upon it, but do you want to kind of elaborate?
Sure. So I guess my goal would be at least achieve around like 10k followers. That's like a good benchmark.
Quite close.
Yeah, alright. So the growth's starting to slow down. Look, that's why I have to be in stuff like this. My goal, the goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and eventually, like, I want to do more broader content where, you know, maybe I'm giving advice or where I can just yap a bit more, like, a bit like this actually, and just showcase my personality for what it is as well. Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched upon it before as well. And also, yeah, I forgot to mention like the different opportunities that it can give you just by putting yourself out there. I want to have access to even better opportunities because right now the DMs, like the people that are DMing me, man, are just useless, man. So I need to up my game, and hopefully I'll get, you know, bigger fish to fry, man. Yeah, training 2-on-2, let's collab. Right.
Yeah, first. Yeah, maybe training 2-on-2 is watching. Let's do a collab. So this is for people who is too scared. Like, I know lots of people want to start content, but they're actually quite scared of starting it. Is there any advice you'd give to people like that?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So there's lots of different advice. You know, don't care what people think. You know, if you have a goal, stick to it. But if you want to think about it logically, what are you scared of? You're scared of judgment and that people will just, you know, remember you because of that. I mean, like, I think one interesting thing one thing that I like to think about whenever I post like content is just like, do you ever remember like your last reel? Probably not, right? So that's probably what people think when if they looked at your content. Like, no one really gives a shit. Like you're not that special in the world that you're gonna be imprinted on someone's mind. If you are, then, you know, good for you, but probably not, right? The most I ever get in person is just, oh, you know, you're that guy. Like, so it doesn't really like affect me that much. So I'm saying all this just to show you that, you know, like, it's not, what you're scared of is probably not even gonna happen. So, yeah, like that should eliminate like one fear of, you know, some people who want to start content, you know, the judgment. It's not really as bad as you may think. So.
Yeah, honestly, even if you are judged, I feel like once you achieve the success that you want, like everyone's gonna forget about it. Like all it matters is that if you achieve your goal and you've done that, people rate it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And now you're at around 6k, right? Followers? Or 5k?
Close to 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5. So retrospectively, how do you think you could grow quicker? Like just knowing what you know now.
Grow quicker? Okay, so I think I, you know, grew to 5k because, you know, I get a lot of views disproportionately for a channel of my size, and so more people are naturally going to follow because more people have seen it. So why have I gone more viral? And the reason why I've gone more viral is because I do a form. So one, I go to Imperial, and there's not that many Imperial influencers, so there's a bit of a gap there, and because of that. Lots of people know Imperial as well, and so just think about it. Lots of people know about Imperial, they want to get into Imperial, they want to learn more about Imperial. But if you search up Imperial, what do you see? You just see the Imperial website, which, I don't know, like, it's a bit boring. Like, no one really wants to see that. You go on TikTok, oh, there's the Imperial social media channel. If Imperial's watching this, like, just up your game. Like, no, like, it's just, no one wants to see the content you're posting right now, man. Like, you want to see the real nitty gritty of what's happening in the campus. And so with my content, I try to showcase more of what is it actually like to be here, what do the students actually think. And so people naturally just want to see what's going on in other people's lives, and having an interview format like what I would do, with maybe having like multiple people in each video, just does that to the max. And so that's why they go viral. It's in a niche with Imperial where there's not that many, there's a bit of a gap. And it's an interview style format, which will, you know, most definitely go popular because people, you're always interested to see what the other person is up to. And so that's one example. So you could try and apply that to whatever you've got going on. You know, so it could be an interview format if you wanted. Yeah, that's the reason why I've gone viral. And so because of that, that should give you an idea of, you know, one way to grow. You know.
Yeah, Imperial, if you're watching this, just locking. Moving to the next section. This is about your future. Maybe you don't want to think about it, but what does Khuselee in 5 years look like?
In 5 years, 5 years, how old will I be? I'm gonna say because I don't want to reveal my age. No, I'm joking. Yeah, okay, so I'll be in my mid-20s. 5 years, so next year I'll graduate. Okay, I'll probably be 5 years. Damn, that's actually a long time.
It is a long time.
Yeah. 5 years ago, I had just finished my GCSEs, so yeah,
Crazy.
very, very long time ago. And putting 5 years forward, I would like to think I'm, quite, generally, like I've done well. I mean, I can only really extrapolate it based on what I know of myself, my own history, and so, like it's gonna sound a bit cringe, but like in secondary, I did well, I managed to find my footing, and I got good grades in the end. Same thing for sixth form. Like a lot of the times, like I enter a new environment, like uni, for example, and I might have like a bit of a rocky road compared to others, but generally I always find my footing and then come out strong in the end. And so I hope that in 5 years' time, I will be, well established into whatever it is I'm doing. Interestingly, like I'm actually more confused about what exact career I'm gonna go into now than I was like 2 years ago, which is very interesting. And it's mainly because I've just realized more of the options that are available to me. So I can't quite pinpoint which career I will be in, but I hope and I believe it will be something where I'm being stretched and I'm just, I'm working hard. I have to work hard in, and that's the type of environment I want to be in. So yeah, like I would imagine in 5 years' time I'm established and working hard on something, and I know what I'm doing. So
Great.
yeah, that's all I can really say on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you, man. Do you think your degree prepared you well for what you want to do?
My degree prepared me for? Yeah, I think so. It gave me exposure to lots of different areas within technology. It has a higher workload than, it statistically just has a higher workload than most other courses in the world. I go to a top uni, and because of that, like your raw skill set is just going to be your ability to work hard, your ability to deal with pressure, your ability to organize, your mindset as well. Those are like I don't know if they're considered soft skills, but those are like the core skills that you really develop by doing, a hard degree in a top university. It doesn't have to be my course, doesn't have to be an Imperial, but as long as you fit that criteria of, a hard degree in a top uni, you're going to develop those skill sets that I just mentioned. And so, that will never be, useless. That will help you in whatever it is you do. I'd say the biggest thing that I've learned, if I had to say one thing that I learned from being in 3 years in Imperial, is just that I know now that I can learn anything, really. Like, when I was younger, I might think, this topic, I'm not smart enough for it, but now I realize, and looking at the other end, like, no, it's not the case. It's just about, you can learn anything. Quantum physics, the history, law, it doesn't matter. It's just, are you willing to put in the hours? Are you passionate to do it? Do you want to do it? And if you do, then yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, a history student can learn to code, a computer science student can learn to be like a public speaker. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, all of it's possible. And I've just realized, like, anything is possible as long as I work hard, and that's what my experience, my degree, and my uni has prepared me to do. So
Yeah, that's a really cool tip. Like, your mindset is the only thing that kind of limits you from doing anything, to be honest. Like, if you put the work in, you can probably do anything you want. You don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, but do you have any regrets about coming to Imperial?
No, I'll answer. I just need to think. Regrets. The only reason why I would regret is just because Imperial wasn't my first choice. for uni. So I don't know if this is a clip, just for context. Like I had my first choice was for Cambridge, chemical engineering, and Imperial was my second choice. And so the only reason I would have regrets is, maybe I could have gone there. But looking back now, like I think, I do financially better here, staying in Imperial. I think I get all the technical capabilities that I would have gone in Cambridge. And being in London, I think it just puts you closer to, employers, all the different careers. Like if you're in the UK, you should be in London, right? Because that's the international hotspot. That's like the hot area of the UK. So going to a uni in London is probably better than being in the middle of Cambridge. The only regret I can really see from that is just, like I visited Oxford and Cambridge, and the campuses are really nice, man. So like Imperial campus is just very, like I won't lie, it is quite unfriendly, and like our library could do better, man. Like it could be aesthetically a bit more pleasing. So yeah, that's like one of the only real regrets really of going to Imperial. Everything else, like maybe just regrets of like what I could have done better. I probably could have worked harder in the beginning, but like that's not really the fault of the uni. That's just more on me. So yeah.
Shit, yeah, fairs. That was basically it. I mean, thanks so much for coming on, Khuselee. And
no worries.
Yeah, we'll catch you in the next one, guys. Do you
Yeah.
want to say something?
Yeah, guys, just follow my channel, please. I need to follow.
I'll link it in the description.
Yeah, just if it's
let's get into 10K. Let's get into 10K.
Yeah, man, you got me doing stuff like this. But yeah, very good, very nice chat, and yeah, follow him. It's a great channel. Yeah.
Love, cheers. All right, cool. Thank you.